What is up, Knicks fans? It's your boy CP here with a Knicks recap back on the True Knicks Talk podcast. As always, make sure you're supporting the stream and the podcast. Hit that thumbs up, comment your thoughts and opinions, subscribe to the channel bottom right hand corner, and you know where to find me. You know where I'm rocking X, Instagram, YouTube, all at the same handle at CPNY Sports. I definitely appreciate the support. Today, obviously, I'm doing a live stream. It's a nice Sunday. The Knicks have a nice matinee win under their belts on this fine Sunday. We got more football coming up too, so I figured I'd take 20 to 30 minutes out of my time and just recap this Knicks win. So without further ado, let's get into it. Let's waste no time. The Knicks blew the Charlotte Hornets out of the stadium, out of MSG on this Sunday matinee matchup, 129 to 108. The Knicks are victorious. The Knicks were shooting lights out on all cylinders. They started the game off strong on a 7-0 run. Julius Randle had 5 quick points. We'll talk about the individual performances a little bit. We'll talk a little bit about the team effort as well. Got to give props where props are due. The Knicks were just firing on all cylinders. Defensive side of the ball, rebounding on the glass, and the scoring was absolutely phenomenal to watch. I have no complaints about this game. Absolutely none. Whereas, obviously, in that San Antonio Spurs game, in my recap that I did over there, I was a little bit of I was hesitating because the Spurs missed a lot of open shots, but really the Knicks did a good job closing out open shooters on the 3-ball line. Obviously, LaMelo Ball got going there a little bit in the first half, but he was not able to carry that team, and that just wasn't sustainable ball. So appreciate everyone tuning in. Whoever's tuning in, I definitely appreciate the support. Got my man Aaron in the chat. So the Knicks don't need Karl Anthony Towns, it seems. No, man, I've been telling everyone on here, if you've been rocking with me and you've been listening to my Knicks takes, like, you know that I know that the Knicks need a superstar type player to enter this building. They need a player to go ahead and drive them over to that next tier of competitiveness. But Karl Anthony Towns is not that. And I quite frankly don't know what any trade package would look like for any other player. But I like the way this team is rolling. It's early on in the season. We'll get to the trade deadline when we get to the trade deadline. But yeah, no Karl Anthony Towns in New York. I don't know where he better fits. I heard some talk and some discussions. My man Darren on the Variety Sports Network in terms of Karl Anthony Towns being a fit in Cleveland and what a potential package might look like there, but definitely not in New York, 100%. Shout out Aaron for tuning in. Always appreciate the support. So players of the game, as always, if you've been tuning in to the True Knicks Talk podcast, doing my recaps, obviously I do players of the game. Today I had to give it to RJ Barrett. At first I had this graphic set to Julius Randle. Obviously, Randle didn't play down the stretch. RJ Barrett was able to get a couple more extended minutes. He finished with 24 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, 4 of 6 from 3, and he is shooting lights out from 3-ball this season so far. It's absolutely phenomenal. In this short little 9-game stretch that the Knicks have opened up here, RJ Barrett is just shooting the ball phenomenal from downtown. Another 20-plus point game from RJ Barrett. He's just feeling it so far. His confidence is absolutely unmatched. Him and Quickly both. It's just like as soon as they get the ball in their hands, they're looking to do some damage, and I love it. LaMelo Ball on the other side of things had 32 points today, 7 rebounds, 6 assists, 4 of 8 from 3-ball. He was about the only player on the Hornets that can score. Aside from Brandon Miller, who went down with a twisted ankle, sprained ankle, I believe, early on in the game. He had a quick early 11 points, but went down with that injury, and it was all LaMelo Ball from there. The Hornets just couldn't get anything going. That team is in shambles. Gordon Hayward had an off game. I was really expecting Gordon Hayward to have a typical MSG performance in matinee time. He's done that a couple times throughout the years against the Knicks at MSG, but not today. So the Charlotte Hornets situation is it is what it is. It's typical Charlotte Hornets. I'm not sure what they're going to do over there. I'm not sure what the path looks like for them moving forward. But I will point out that LaMelo Ball's plus minus today was also minus 33, so not great in that aspect as well. But that's what happens when you're the only guy on your team that can score. And he was dishing the ball pretty well. The Knicks really in the first half was scaring me a little bit when they let him go on a little bit of a hot run because they just seemed like they had no answer for him. And it was a little bit concerning, but definitely a tale of two halves, I think, for LaMelo Ball. But he's going to get his, and that's okay. As long as the Knicks aren't getting burned elsewhere by another player, they're going to win more ball games than not against these lowly teams and that they should be beating. So I'm really happy that the Knicks have been doing a better job in terms of not playing down to their competition, 2 blowouts in a row versus teams they should be blowing out against the San Antonio Spurs and now the Charlotte Hornets. So that's exactly what we got going on here. There is no path, Aaron says, for the Charlotte Hornets except MJ got richer from them in the offseason. Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm not going to speak on that organization. I don't know the inner workings of that organization all too well. I know there's a lot of discombobulation. Brandon Miller seems like a very promising pick. He's been starting the season off hot from what I can gather. LaMelo Ball is going to bring you the scoring. He's going to bring you that offensive side of the ball, but he does have his defensive issues 100%, and we saw that today. The Hornets team in general just lacks discipline, and they are not a great defensive team at all. It's unfortunate because that fan base has really, I feel like, been just vying for some sort of turnaround with all these youth guys moving forward in this youth movement that they got, and it's just not materializing. So I'm not sure what the way is forward for them, but it's looking like it's going to be a long process, even still with the young talent that they have. So let's get into some more Knicks talk here, though. Obviously, those are my players of the game. Had to get RJ Barrett in there. Obviously, the thumbnail has Jalen Brunson, who had another solid game, very solid start. One thing that I liked out of Tom Thibodeau today is that he realized that he doesn't need to put the starters back in. He emptied the bench with about 5 minutes left in the ball game. You saw Deuce McBride get some minutes, Ryan Arcidiacono, Jericho Sims got in the ball game. I love to see that. Just all those guys clearing the bench. Dante DiVincenzo gets extended minutes as well, and we'll talk about Dante DiVincenzo and his impact here in a minute too. But a really good game. Can't complain at all. This is a great Sunday before the New York Giants inevitably put up an embarrassing game. Unfortunately, I will be watching that just in about 2 hours here. So here are the Knicks starters plus Emmanuel Quickley, because at this point we might as well just be talking about Emmanuel Quickley potentially starting down the line. I know that hurts the second unit, and the second unit looked absolutely phenomenal today. They've looked phenomenal all season long, and they're going to continue to look phenomenal because that is a complete second unit. And RJ Barrett did a lot of his damage with that second unit as well, I might add onto that fact. So you see Julius Randle here had a very impressive performance, 23 points, 5 boards, 5 assists, 3 steals to go along with that. Big Julius hustling. He's finally starting to get it together. You saw all the things he was saying to the media about his injuries, how he was playing through a little bit of injury to begin the season. I'm not entirely sure. I believe that the injury and the soreness and the pain just went away just like that. But whatever he needed to get going, he certainly has done so in the last couple of games. He's been on fire, which is good to see. Didn't have to play down the stretch. We got a nice little back-to-back game, a rematch against the Boston Celtics tomorrow at TD Garden in Boston, a rematch of game 1 of this season where I think the Knicks definitely should have closed out that game, but free throws ailed them, and the Celtics, obviously being contenders that they are, took that game from the Knicks. So it should be an interesting matchup in Boston tomorrow. Jalen Brunson got off to a hot start. Like I said, they played reduced minutes. Tibbs had that flexibility and that option because the Knicks did what they had to do, and he had the flexibility to put in that second unit for extended minutes. He had the opportunity to clear the bench and bring in those third-tier guys off the bench to give these guys some rest. So Jalen Brunson, excuse me, a lot of J's on this team. RJ, Jalen, Julius. So I'm struggling with the names here with the J's. So 20 points, 2 of 4 from 3, 1 steal. I don't exactly know. I'm not going to look on my phone to see what the percentage was from behind the arc for the Knicks as a team today, but they were shooting the ball lights out again. I love to see that. It's trending upward for them, especially guys like Jalen Brunson and, like I said, RJ Barrett to begin the season. It's awesome to see. the shooting was a high question mark for the Knicks moving forward. That's something that plagued them in that Heat series last season. Down the stretch when they needed buckets to match the Heat's outside shooting, they just didn't have it. So I want to see if this trend continues. Aaron asks, is any concerns for DiVincenzo averaging 7-8? No, I don't have any. I'll tell you why I'm not concerned for Dante DiVincenzo, because he's really playing a part. He's really playing into his role. He understands his role and what it is in that second unit. And I'll get to that here in a couple slides here in my additional takeaways of this game. But he played a phenomenal game. I'm not worried about what his stat line is in terms of points scored. That doesn't quite matter to me. If he can provide 2, 3, 4 threes off the bench and just played solid defense, he's going to pass the ball around. He has tremendous vision. Not worried about him. Mitchell Robinson, absolutely phenomenal performance on the boards yet again. He is putting a very complete season so far together. Hope the health stays with Mitchell Robinson. That's something that he struggled early on in his career with, just staying healthy, a couple of nagging ankle injuries. So hopefully he stays on the court. Good to see him get off the court when it was a blowout. He provided 10 points, 9 rebounds, 1 steal. Like I said, not many big men in this league are going to have an easy time scoring buckets with the likes of Mitchell Robinson and Isaiah Hartenstein. I talked about this a little bit ago with the Cleveland Cavaliers and their bigs, Jared Allen last season, Evan Mobley last season, and this season in both matchups that the Knicks played the Cavs. They can't get anything going against these Knicks bigs because they're physical, they're gritty, and they're tough in that paint, both on the offensive and the defensive side of the glass. And that's what Knicks basketball is all about. I don't care for that flashy basketball. Like if the Knicks eventually become a flashy team, okay, fine. But this is a grinded out physical team that's going to give a lot of teams in this league fits. And that's what I love about Knicks basketball right now and how they've been transforming over the past couple years to become this sort of team. Classic Knicks basketball. I love it. And Mitchell Robinson is the epitome of that. So I always talk about Mitchell Robinson being on a team-friendly deal with his contract extension, and I truly do mean it. He is providing he's living up to his contract and then some. Quentin Grimes, 6 points, 2 of 4 from 3, 1 steal. If anything, I like when Quentin Grimes catches and shoots, and we saw that on both threes that he made today, but something has to give. I understand he's playing his role, and it's a diminished role as a starter outside of Randall, Brunson, and RJ. I understand the production is not going to be there, but I think that Quentin Grimes, if he's able to produce just a little bit more than what he's been doing so far this season, that just makes the Knicks a lot more dangerous. You saw one distinct possession that Mike Breen had called out today in particular, where Jalen Brunson passed up an open three to make the extra pass to Quentin Grimes. They want to get him more involved, and they want his confidence to go up and to skyrocket. And that was a great veteran move by Jalen Brunson. Unfortunately, Quentin Grimes missed that three, and he didn't score any points, I think, until further along in the game. But that's the sort of thing that I'm looking for out of Jalen Brunson, out of RJ Barrett, out of Julius Randle. How are they going to get Quentin Grimes involved? Because if Quentin Grimes is going to continue starting on this team, there has to be a workaround. I understand the defensive side of the ball and what he brings there, but I think the Knicks take that big step forward if he produces more offensively. And I want to see him take more shots. I want to see him stuff up the stat sheet, points wise as well. I think he's capable of scoring, being a guy that can get you 15 quick, easy points, hit 5 threes in the game. I'm not saying it all has to come from threes. He's certainly capable of driving the ball, and he should be to open up that outside shot. But it is a confidence thing with Quentin Grimes, so we'll continue monitoring him. And like I said, Emmanuel Quickley, give him the bag. He deserves it all. He deserves whatever he wants on that contract. Blank check. He is the X factor for the Knicks this season so far, 100%, being that sixth man for the New York Knicks. Had 17 points today, 9 assists, 5 rebounds, and 4 of 6 from downtown. He is an absolute bucket. He's confident. He wants the ball in his hands. He demands the ball in his hands, and that's what I respect about Emmanuel Quickley in his game. I think that Quentin Grimes can learn a thing or two from Emmanuel Quickley in the way he plays, not only confidence-wise, but also driving the basketball and making sure that you are opening up that game, because as soon as you attack the rim, you're keeping the defenders honest, that outside catch and shoot will follow up and proceed. shortly thereafter, 100%. So, but overall, I want to say the Knicks ball movement today was absolutely phenomenal. Quentin Grimes made a great passes, great pass and cuts. Dante DiVincenzo, his vision is unmatched. Like the Knicks were moving the ball really well today. And that is something I think the Knicks, when they are lethargic and when they are, just posting up one-on-one, when Julius Randle gets in a little bit of his one-on-one action, which I'm not taking anything away from Julius Randle posting up, going on a one-on-one, but I want to see there be more consistency and more equilibrium, I want to say, from the offensive side of the ball, because the way the ball was moving today, zipping around, it gave the Hornets fits. And not many teams are going to be able to stop that in the NBA. I'll tell you that right now. So I love the way the Knicks were passing the basketball, and it shows up in the stat sheet. You look at those 9 assists from Quickly, those 5 assists from Randall. It shows up. So that's something that I'm really proud of the Knicks for doing and implementing today. Um, Let's see here. What do we got? Additional takeaways. Emmanuel Quickly still him. Like I said, he is the bucket getter of this Knicks team when you need a bucket. And if Jalen Brunson's not on the floor, Emmanuel Quickly is going to demand the ball in his hands. Not only has Emmanuel Quickly been scoring, he's been scoring at an efficient rate. Efficiently. I think the only game that I've seen him not being efficient in was that San Antonio Spurs game. But he's been an efficient in every other single game, in every single facet. He's been honestly a nuisance on the defensive side of the ball too, because he has great active hands. So does Quentin Grimes. So does Dante DiVincenzo. They impact the game on the defensive side of the floor too, which is what you like to see from the second unit. Like I said, this Knicks team is going to go as far as the second unit takes them. And I know that that's not really how you want to shake things up, because you want to be confident in that first team. And I am confident in that first team. But when that first team is off, we saw it in the Spurs game, or was it a Spurs game? I forgot which game it was. When they're off, Tom Thibodeau, who's been doing a really better job of it, he does not force them back into the game. He realizes something that he didn't realize or didn't start to implement last season when I would have liked him to. He is becoming more aware of what timing is just right for that second unit to stay in the ball game versus bringing in that first unit back. And there's a lot of mixing and matching going on too. I mentioned that RJ Barrett is thriving not only with that starting unit, that first unit, but also when he plays that second unit, he also thrives because along with Quickly, he becomes the immediate the ball handler in that second unit with Julius and Jalen off the floor. So that's something that I love. I think Tom Thibodeau is becoming a smarter coach. I think he's coaching these guys up really well. I know a lot of people like to knock him on the player development. Why haven't we seen Grimes take that next step, et cetera, et cetera? I mean, it is what it is at this point. I think rotationally, the way he's managing this unit and this Knicks team is something that a smart coach, that's what a smart coach does. And I think Tom Thibodeau is learning from his mistakes last season, and he's starting to figure it out this season, which is why I think we're seeing the Knicks finally start to get off to that start this season that we were expecting. Obviously, they started off a little slow, but they're back to 500 now, or they're at 500 for the first time this season at 5-4 right now. Mitchell Robinson, Isaiah Hartenstein working the boards. That tandem, like I said, I don't have anything else to say about those guys other than just high praise always. They work the defensive, or they work the glass, defensive and offensive side of the glass. And these guys are tremendous at what they do. And not only that, they are physical on the defensive side of the ball. Like I said, if you can find me a center that's going to score at ease against them, I think the only player that I would probably bank on in terms of a center scoring at ease against these guys, if it were to come down to like a one-on-one matchup, would probably be Joker and Embiid. Those are the only two. Every other single center is going to have problems with that sort of physicality. And Mitchell Robinson and Isaiah Hartenstein are not centers that are going to flash you like an Embiid, like a Jokic, but they get the job done. And I think that every single contending team needs at least one center like those guys. If not Mitchell Robinson, then definitely Isaiah Hartenstein in that second unit, but Mitchell Robinson as well. So absolutely phenomenal performance. This, like I said, this three ball, I don't know exactly. This is not accurate. They weren't 19-42. I want to see if I can pull up the actual box score of what the Knicks shot from three today. I don't have it up. That was from the Spurs game. I highly apologize. I don't want to give you any false information. The Knicks were 15 of 30, 15 of 36 today. Knicks were 15 of 36 from three, equating to about 42% from three. So, listen, I'll take it, man. I'll take it. Anything above 40% in the game, if you're the New York Knicks, knowing how this team shot last season, from three in the playoffs, I'll take 40% all day long. So shout out the guys just shooting the ball well from beyond the arc. And this is the reason why I'm not worried about Dante DiVincenzo. He is a defensive nuisance for the opposition. It's actually phenomenal to watch the way he rotates off the ball on the defensive side of the ball. And it's an actual pleasure to watch how active his hands are in those passing lanes. He causes a lot of deflections, which enables the Knicks to run a lot of fast breaks over the last couple of games. And I don't think that many people, if you're truly watching these games, then you would know that. And I see a lot of discourse happening on Dante DiVincenzo. It happened a lot when we signed him first to that 4-year, $50 million deal this offseason. There's a lot of discourse on how much value this guy was truly going to bring in this second unit. Like I said, Aaron, to answer your question, if you're still here and you're still watching, I'm not worried about Dante DiVincenzo because he knows his role with that second team on the defensive side of the ball, and his shot's going to fall. He's a guy that's going to shoot probably 5 or 6 threes a game, depending on his minutes played. And he's probably going to make 2 or 3 of those. So if he can add 2 to 3 threes off the bench for us, then I am not worried about Dante DiVincenzo, how he impacts the Knicks, because I think Dante DiVincenzo is a classic player that impacts the game in a lot of ways that you can't see in the stat sheet. And that's what I respect about him. And like, I can tell Knicks fans or just NBA fans in general that don't watch the Knicks. And if you don't watch the Knicks, that's okay. Like, I'm not sitting here. This is why I'm here doing this. So if you don't watch the Knicks, I can give you the rundown of what I see from my beloved New York Knicks. And I appreciate everybody who's tuning into my rants. That's certainly appreciated. So that's why I'm not worried about Dante DiVincenzo and his averaging of 7.8 points a game so far this season. And I appreciate you still tuning in. So hopefully I'm providing you a little bit clarity of your Dante DiVincenzo question, because like I said, his off-ball rotation, that's what the Knicks struggled in that Miami Heat series. Not only the outside shooting for the New York Knicks struggled to keep up with the Miami Heat, but also the Heat were so stacked with outside shooters last season. Gabe Vincent, Max Strus, Duncan Robinson, Jimmy Butler doesn't take a lot of outside shots, but he dribble penetrates and kicks it out to guys like Tyler Hero, etc. The Knicks were not able to match that sort of three-ball production, one, on the offensive side of the ball, and two, on the defensive side of the ball. Their rotations down the stretch in those games were awful. I'm talking about off-ball, finding the open man in the corner and closing out on him. The Knicks did not know how to do that. And I'm not going to name drop, but Obi Toppin, a guy that the Knicks traded, I don't know. It's still hard for me to give an opinion on the Obi Toppin trade. I'm not sitting here and I'm not going to dwell on an Obi Toppin trade because the Knicks really, at this rate, with how much he was playing with the Knicks last season, aren't missing any of his production, to be honest with you. I would have liked to see it happen with the Knicks, but it just didn't come to fruition. But he, in that Miami Heat series, was one of those guys where I'm like, dude, close out the shooter, rotate, switch, whatever you need to do. Find that corner shooter, because the Miami Heat were just getting everything that they wanted in those corners when they made that extra pass. Dante DiVincenzo is a guy that can plug that sort of weakness in for the second unit and for the Knicks down the stretch if need be with the first unit. So that's why I like Dante DiVincenzo, and that's why I'm so happy he's on this team. Sorry for my little rant on Dante DiVincenzo. I have to just do him a little justice because I've been seeing too much discourse, too much negative discourse on Knicks Twitter surrounding Dante DiVincenzo. And finally, before I close this all out, RJ Barrett is on an absolute roll. An absolute roll. I don't have his season stats pulled up here. I should have done my due diligence in terms of pulling up his season stats, but he is absolutely phenomenal. Let me just pull it up right now. In 6 games that he's played, he missed a couple games with that sore right knee. He's averaging 22.3 points a game. He's averaging just over 3 assists, just over 3 rebounds. He's shooting 47% from the floor, so almost 50%. I want to see what his three ball is at because that's something that's impressed me so far this season. What is he shooting from the three ball? Three ball percentage is also no, three ball percentage is 47. So 40 he's shooting 47% from three this season. That's absolutely unbelievable. RJ Barrett is shooting 47% from three this season. Unbelievable. This guy is putting on a show, dude. He's putting on a show. Free throw percentage is great too. He's at around 87% from the free throw line. I know he struggled with that in his first couple of seasons in the league. Um, Field goal percentage, yeah. So field goal percentage, 47.4%. Three ball percentage at 47.1%. Absolutely phenomenal. RJ Barrett, you are a stud. Um, that 4-year, $100 million deal is looking like a little steal right now. I know me personally, I can't come on here and cap, but I literally was starting to question why the Knicks signed him to that extension because his inconsistencies. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I wasn't worried about RJ Barrett and his inconsistencies in the first couple of years of his career, but he is really, really turning it on this season. And he's not getting recognized. He's not getting noticed by the big media outlets, by NBA Twitter in general. And that's okay because he doesn't need that. He wasn't listed on any top 25 or top 50, 25 and under player lists. That's fine. Nobody needs to know about RJ Barrett and what he's been producing. The team knows, the fans know, and Tom Thibodeau knows what his production brings to this team. So shout out RJ Barrett. Got to give flowers where flowers are due. He's phenomenal. You could argue that he's been the Knicks' best player this season. I think he's been the Knicks' best player this season. I really do. So, anyways, that's my rant from the Hornets game. I appreciate you all rocking with me from this post game live. If you didn't get a chance to listen into the live, the replay is always there. If you agree or disagree with anything that I'm saying, feel free to comment after the fact, after you watch it. Knicks upcoming game, like I said, back to back tomorrow versus the Boston Celtics. Monday, November 13th, 7:30 at TD Garden in Boston. Aaron, I know you're watching this, so shout out Hollywood Ray. Hopefully Hollywood Ray is in for a little surprise with the New York Knicks coming into Boston and hopefully sweeping up a dub from them because I'm really still angry about how the Knicks lost at home in that season opener in a game that the Knicks were leading by 6, 7 points down the stretch. They couldn't hit any free throws. Boston went on the run, and it was a wrap from there. So I want to see the Knicks close games out better. I think that's where the Knicks struggled a lot last season as well. But I want to see the Knicks when they have a fourth quarter lead. I always get nervous because the team starts to become lackadaisical. They don't start to move on. I don't know. I don't want to jinx anything. I'm not going to talk about any negativity today. This is Sunday. We had a nice blowout victory. Ease of mind. I'm not going to worry about that. We'll worry about the performance tomorrow when it shows up in the box score in the post game. I probably will do a Celtics Knicks post game live tomorrow. I will be doing that. I will be doing that. I will commit to that. I will be going live on my channel for Knicks Celtics in the post game tomorrow. I know Hollywood Ray, like I said, I would love to have Hollywood Ray on the post game. I know he's working at TD Garden tomorrow. So hopefully he gets to witness an L firsthand over there. But the Boston Celtics are a great team. When I did that video with Hollywood Ray earlier on this season, before that first game, I gave them props are due. I think the Boston Celtics have the best starting five in the league, and they're certainly deep with Payne Pritchard coming off the bench. I know he's been struggling a little bit, but that team certainly has championship aspirations with the way the roster is built. So the Knicks are up for a tough challenge tomorrow. Hopefully they're up to the task, and we'll see what happens there. But guys, this has been the True Knicks Talk podcast. Hornets versus Knicks recap post game live. I appreciate everybody rocking with me. Thank you so much. Like I said, you know where to find me: X, Instagram, YouTube, all at CPNY Sports. If you're here watching right now and didn't comment, make sure you comment your thoughts and opinions down below after this is concluded. Make sure you hit that thumbs up, support the stream. And as always, let's go Knicks. We'll see exactly how tomorrow shakes out on day 2 of a back-to-back. Knicks didn't have so much luck in the back-to-back with the Cavs earlier on a couple games ago, so we'll see if the Knicks are up for the task in Boston tomorrow. So, like I said, it's been your boy CP. It's the True Knicks Talk podcast. Let's go Knicks. We'll see you all tomorrow on the post game. Make sure you're tuning in. See y'all later. Thank you for watching the latest episode of the CP New York Sports Pod. If you enjoyed this content, make sure you hit that thumbs up, comment your thoughts and opinions, and use the lower right-hand button of this video to subscribe to the channel. Thank you.